Is Giant Sword worth the upgrade? I'm going to be talking about all the upsides and downsides of Giant Sword and if it's worth the upgrade from Shadow Fury. Before we start though, subscribe to become part of the Before 100 group. Now to start off the video, a clean Giant Sword is about 180 mil, 25 mil if you're lucky enough to drop it from floor 6. While a Shadow Fury is more like 40 mil and 50 mil if you drop it in dungeons. To start off the comparison, a Shadow Fury is 1/4 of the price of a Giant Sword, so you would want it to be a relatively good upgrade. However, Giant Sword only does 20% more damage than the Shadow Fury. It doesn't seem like a very valuable investment on pure damage. However, if you look at the abilities, that's where the Giant Sword starts to value and gain a little bit more of a reason to upgrade to it. They both have relatively short cooldowns, Giant Sword being 30 seconds and Shadow Fury being 15 seconds. However, Shadow Fury doesn't cost any mana while Giant Sword does cost about 100. That may seem like a downside, however, its ability compared to Shadow Fury is a lot more useful in many cases because it does damage, a lot of it too. Shadow Fury's ability is to just teleport around and hit them in the back. That can be pretty useful in dungeons when you're trying to skip a floor, and instead of unlocking the key, you can just go through the wall by getting close to a mob and using its ability, which can be pretty useful to just skip stages. They have two different unique uses. Giant Sword, I feel, is a lot more useful in a lot of different cases because it does damage instead of teleporting you around and can be used a lot for bosses. Now, looking back on the prices, realistically there's better options than the Giant Sword like Dark Claymore. However, if you're looking at level wise and accessibility, Dark Claymore requires a Master Mode floor 7 completion, which is very hard to do mid-game or early mid-game. It could just take a long while Giant Sword, it has relatively low requirements, if it has any at all, I'm not sure. Dark Claymore costs about 300 million. It does more damage, however, it just requires such a high level to unlock that it's not worth it. And most people would have a Hyperion before they have a Master Mode 7 completion. If you're going the mage route, you'd probably be better off getting something like a 100 mil Midas Staff. I've heard that it does more damage than a Hyperion. However, I cannot confirm that, and it also has a cooldown, and the Hyperion does not. To finish off this video, Giant Sword overall is worth it. However, if you're a mage, you'd probably be better off using a 100 mil Midas Staff and a max Shadow Fury or Giant Sword depending on how big your budget is.